So we just got back from a meeting with Trumpet Behavioral Health, which is where Gage has gone for about the last 3 years for all of his therapy, and just had a meeting with some of the higher ups there regarding an issue that we've run into recently, a recurring issue that we keep running into, specifically with a care provider by the name of Jessica Gomez, who we've got an extensive history with for about the last 3 or 4 years, who keeps popping up in our lives. Originally, she was Gage's first respite care provider. She worked with us extensively through 2015 or into early 2016 when I was hospitalized, and she was great with Gage initially, and then things kind of spiraled out of control as far as her mental health was concerned. And while I was in the hospital, of course, I wasn't really part of that initially, but Rachel was. And so I think this is a good time for her to kind of step in and kind of explain what happened.
So don't get me wrong about this Jessica Gomez person. I am not out to destroy anybody's life. I am trying to relate this stuff to you guys as factually as I can, because as a parent in this community, I know I would want to know this was a thing that was potentially around our kids. Jessica has a history of abuse, being a victim. She's been in and out of Tessa, she's been in and out of Aspen Point, she has some mental health issues. She's a very sweet person. I believe at one point at least she meant well. And she certainly plays the part of the innocent victim extremely well. Essentially what happened was because of her mental health issues, she wasn't able to keep up her job with Carmel, which has since renamed itself. I can't remember what the name of the new company is. I don't go through them anymore. But they were going to fire her because she wasn't keeping up her jobly duties. And I was a gullible idiot, and so I gave her $250 so that she could pay for her insurance to become a private contractor respite care provider. And less than 12 hours later, she texted me and quit. No kind of warning. She was supposed to watch Gage that day, took off with the money, peaced out. So I chalked that up to me being a gullible moron, and we moved on with our lives. We got a new respite care provider. She's amazing. And we moved on. A month or so later, out of nowhere, she shows up at our house, wanted to be Gage's provider again. We told her, no, absolutely not. You have proven that we can't rely on you. And so, since we can't trust you, you can't be our provider. If you still want to try to pursue a friendship, we can talk. And her response was, and I'm quoting here, so forgive the language, but fuck you, don't ever call me again. And she left. So we figured we were done. Well, then we start school this year in August, and she has inexplicably managed to become a para in his class in District 2. And she knew he went there. She's picked him up from that exact classroom before. Because of his class and his diagnosis, he is in the same classroom all through elementary school, and she has been there. She knows where he goes, and suddenly she inexplicably managed to get a job there. So we went in and had this conversation with Gage's teacher, let them know our concerns. There wasn't anything they could do because she'd gotten through their background check and done everything she was supposed to. So for the next 6 months, Gage's behavior deteriorated ridiculously poorly at school. We had lots of self-injurious behavior and aggressive behavior we hadn't seen in a year or more come back. And we were just at the point where we were thinking about actually pulling Gage from the school and putting him somewhere else. So a week before Christmas, Jessica vanished. She no-showed, she stopped coming to school, didn't give him any kind of notice or anything, she just up and quit. So since we've returned from Christmas break, Gage has been doing much better. Everything was really improving. His behaviors, his temperament at school was going back to like the happy kid we once knew, and we thought, man, we sure dodged that bullet. She's out of there. Well, that day I had a conversation with his para about that and how great that was and how he didn't have to worry so much anymore. I took Gage to therapy at Trumpet Behavioral, where he has been for almost 4 years and doing marvelously wonderful there. Like, we love the therapists, he loves the place, they've been amazing. It's been a life-changing experience having ABA therapy with them. But guess who just got hired at the southern location? Yeah, she's also picked him up from therapy there, so I have a real hard time buying that this is a coincidental thing. As a matter of fact, I feel scared. I feel scared because I can only think of so many reasons why she would be essentially stalking my kid, and none of them make me real warm and fuzzy. So as a preventative measure, we called the police, we filed a report, just in case anything happens, because this seems to be how these news stories start. You guys in the community, you know what I mean. We went in today and told Trumpet everything I just spilled on you guys. And again, she went through their hiring process and she passed her background check, and so there's nothing they can do. So now my son, my nonverbal, on the spectrum, severely disabled kid, gets punished again. Now he has to leave the place he's been for years for effective therapy and go find a new provider, because this person that causes his behavior to go in the toilet, that's had all kinds of weird interactions with our family, now she works there at the southern location for Trumpet. And I just want to point out, welcome back.
Thanks.
Just want to point out that this could be your kid too.
The one thing that I want to add, I'm going to slide that back over. The one thing that I want to add to what Rachel was just saying with regards to her getting hired at Trumpet Behavioral Health is that she didn't tell them that she'd ever been a care provider.
Respite care provider.
Right, a respite care provider. She completely omitted having worked for the school district. She left those details out in order to get hired at Trumpet Behavioral Health, which is concerning because that means she's lying. Though it's a lie of omission, she's still lying to get jobs. It's also concerning that Trumpet Behavioral Health's vetting process for hiring allows for vacancies in employment and that sort of thing to such a degree that they don't look at mental health. They don't look at why was there such a long gap of non-employment. They don't seem to have any kind of vetting process to actually get more details about that stuff. And again, this is only our experience with Jessica specifically, but it makes me concerned that there may be other care providers there in a very similar situation. They may have lied, may have omitted things, and that Trumpet may have just foregone the extra investigation to find out more details about the people who are supposed to be providing care to these children, some of whom, like ours, are nonverbal and can't tell their parents what's going on.
Right. So with our kids being such a vulnerable group, we wanted to make this video so that we could warn other parents in the area, let them know that this is something that we're dealing with and something that's happening, and then you guys can make your own decisions on what you want to do going forward. If you have any questions, feel free to message.
Yeah.
We're pretty open.
Yeah, absolutely. Anything leave a comment below, whether you find this on Facebook or YouTube, wherever. Leave a comment. Most of you will know how to get a hold of us somehow, so please do that. If you've got further information that you'd like to share with us, do it privately. Don't share personal information in the comment section. Don't share any of that stuff publicly. Make sure that if you need to share that, you share it respectfully and privately, so that nobody gets hurt.
More than they already have.
Right.
Sorry, bitter autism mama right here.
Right. So we're going to go ahead and wrap it up there. Again, this is kind of a PSA from our perspective as far as what we've encountered, both with Jessica and her interaction with our kid, as well as, unfortunately, Trumpet Behavioral Health and their process of hiring. So, again, thanks for your time. Thank you for taking the time to watch this. And if you've got anything to say, please let us know.
Thanks.